We are being hunted by the Mexican cartel.
Their husbands, twin brothers, and American citizens became informants for the U.S. government while working in Mexico for the powerful drug lord known as El Chapo.
Todos viéndome aquí.
I feel like we've always lived with danger of being in Mexico.
Pedro and Margarita Flores ended up back in the U.S., where they pleaded guilty in 2015 to drug trafficking, receiving a 14-year prison term. Their wives went into hiding.
I feel like
Federal de Chicago sentenció a los hermanos Flores a 14 años de prisión por tráfico de drogas. Ellos han sido catalogados como los informantes más valiosos que ha tenido Estados Unidos contra el Chapo Guzmán y líderes del cartel de Sinaloa.
La más reciente y expandida acusación contra miembros de ese cartel, que incluye a 9 acusados, entre ellos el Chapo Guzmán, su hijo Jesús Alfredo y el Mayo Zambada. Enfrentan cargos por importación, distribución de narcóticos y lavado de dinero. Las autoridades no comentaron sobre si pedirán formalmente la extradición del Chapo Guzmán a Chicago. Esto mientras el sitio de reclusión de los hermanos Flores permanecerá secreto debido a razones de seguridad.
and of course our husbands being fugitive.
You were well aware that your husbands were involved in the cartel.
Yes.
How did you feel about that?
I mean, at the time, you know, you're living that life and you're blinded by pretty much everything.
What you see on TV, when you see the Kardashians, that's the type of lifestyle that we lived. You have so many people now today on social media that glamorizes that lifestyle, and I think that they don't realize what this life is about. It's about destruction. It's about violence. People are getting killed. People are being tortured.
Which is why they say they're now going public in a way that doesn't get them killed.
Do you feel badly that your husbands were involved in this and you knew all about it?
Yes. I mean, I wish I could sit here and take it back, but I mean, this is a part of who we are.
They've written a book, Cartel Wives, which gives an inside look at how the $2 billion illicit empire operated, with the Flores brothers running day-to-day operations, smuggling drugs into the U.S.
Our husbands ran their company like a Fortune 500 company. They had so many workers, they had stash houses, they had money counters that worked 3 shifts a day, counting millions and millions of dollars.
In 2008, the brothers started recording conversations with El Chapo.
Chapo works directly with the Colombians. They have narco submarines. Our husbands...
Narco submarines?
Yes. They bring these narco submarines with tons and tons of cocaine.
Today, is there really anything different than when El Chapo was the head of the cartel?
When there's demand, the drugs are going to keep coming and they're going to keep flooding the U.S.
El Chapo is scheduled to go on trial here in September. The Flores brothers are expected to be star witnesses. Their wives will be taking even more precautions.
I have had to move several times around the U.S. because we have contracts on our heads and people are definitely trying to hunt us and kill us.
The case
So during 2005 to 2008, our husbands trafficked $2 billion to Mexico. And we would see these houses full of money. You know, they had hydraulic walls that would just come out like 007 with millions of dollars.
We would have, a room full of money, $1 to $2 million sitting in the room, for us to grab at our expense, and that was usual.
They had workers that worked there 8-hour shifts, 3 shifts per day, just counting money. And they would count maybe $1 million in a couple hours and run it through the machines. And we're talking, 5s and 10s and 1s. We're talking street money. Now, did we benefit from it? Did we live a good life? Yes, of course we did. We were spoiled. We ate well. We traveled. We would sometimes want to stay on vacation for a month on the beach and just live life to its fullest. But at the end of the day, we wanted to denounce that life, and we knew what mattered to us was love and family and simplicity.
As drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman now sits in federal custody in New York awaiting trial, new details are emerging about what it took to bring this high-profile fugitive to justice. It involved two men serving their own time for drug crimes, expected to be the lead witnesses against El Chapo. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge has an exclusive interview with two women speaking on camera for the first time who were married into the cartel.
I came from a wonderful family of law enforcement. I never thought that I would enter in a world of drug trafficking.
We have to constantly hide. We have to constantly remember our lies.
You're sitting here with wigs and glasses, and how are you living your everyday lives?
I've moved several times just because of the security issue that I've been faced with. Like I said, I've been hunted.
Who's hunting you?
The Mexican cartel.
Stepping slightly out of the shadows, Olivia and Nia Flores, not their real names, grew up daughters of Chicago police officers. They are speaking out for the first time about their lives on the run and have written a book called Cartel Wives. The women are married to identical twin brothers, Pedro and Margarita Flores. The brothers rose from being local street drug dealers in the Windy City to running Joaquin El Chapo Guzman's drug empire in the U.S. In 2012, they were each sentenced to 14 years in prison for smuggling 71 tons of cocaine and heroin and $2 billion in cash. The Flores brothers were flipped by the DEA and key to bringing El Chapo to U.S. justice.
Your husbands are the principal witnesses at trial.
Yes. They were the first to ever get Chapo Guzman on a recorded conversation.
They spoke English. They knew the U.S. inside and out. They knew the roads. They knew how to maneuver in the U.S. And that's something Chapo and his team didn't know how to do.
Our husbands, they ran their business like a Fortune 500 company.
They have safe houses, they have couriers, they have transportation systems.
They had tractor trailers with compartments that would be able to move the drugs from LA to Chicago and the money back down to Mexico. They used to work at McDonald's, and they picked up a system where their stash workers would not cross paths with their money counters.
I think it was the largest criminal entity the world's ever seen. Get him out! Get him out!
That's Jack Riley, in action during his 33-year career at the DEA. The just-retired deputy administrator spent more than a decade hunting El Chapo.
Look, I hate the guy.
Was it personal for you?
When I was on the border some 10 years ago, slugging it out with what was going on in Juarez, he put a bounty on my head.
He put a hit on you?
Yeah, I was a little upset about it because it was only $100,000, but he put a bounty to have someone cut my head off. So it is personal with me. Right now, I got to tell you, I like where I sit, and I kind of like where he's sitting too. I saw that guy kill thousands of people in Mexico. I was there.
What would you say to the families whose lives were destroyed by those drugs?
We are very remorseful for the damage that's been caused. Our husbands, they denounced that life, and they tried to take something so negative and they tried to dismantle what they helped build, and that was bringing Chapo Guzman to a U.S. courtroom.
I understand. I'm a mother. I love my children, and it could be one of them also. But at the end of the day, what our husbands did, they put a dent in the drug trade. We did our part to say, I'm sorry, and we denounced this life.
Catherine Herridge, Fox News.